Mayong adlaw Pilipinas, Biyerkules ngayon, ika-12 sa buwan po ng Hulyo. Malagang issue po sa bayan ang ating pag-usapan ngayong araw kasama ang mga kinatawan ng mga piling ahensya ng pamahalaan. Kaya tutok lang. Ako po inyong lingkod Aljo Bendio at ito ang public briefing, #LagNadaPH. Bagong Agrarian Emancipation Law para sa mga magsasaka ating tatalakayin. Kasama si Agri Party List Representative Wilbert Lee. Congressman, magandang araw po.
Magandang umaga po, Aljo. Magandang umaga po sa nanonood ngayong umaga. Magandang araw. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
Yes, sir. Ano po masasabi ninyo sa paglagda ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. dito po sa Agrarian Emancipation Law at ano po ang kahalagan nito para sa ating mga magsasaka?
Unang-una, Aljo, tayo po ay natutuwa at bilang principal author, ito po ay nalagdaan na at naging naisabatas na po ng ating Pangulo nung nakaraang Biyernes. No? Tayo po ay talagang natutuwa dito dahil ito po ay kaugnay po ng ginagawa natin na paghahanap ng paraan para po mapagaan ang pasalin ng ating pong mga mamamayan o kababayan. No? Ang epekto po ng batas na ito, unang-una, yung pong utang po ng ating pong mga ARPs ay kumbaga condone na, wala na po. No? Lahat po ng ito, ang principal, interest, surcharges, wala na po. No? So ang malaking epekto po dito dahil po sa pagkaka-condone po ng mga utang na ito, ang ating pong mga kababayang magsasaka ay makakapag-focus and concentrate na po sila sa pagsasaka. No? Imbis na isipin pa nila yung pagbayad sa utang, ito pong kanilang pera ay magagamit na po sa pagsasaka at sa pagpapatas ng produksyon. No? So ito naman po ang layunin ng ating Pangulo, mapataas po ang ating produksyon ng pagsasaka para po yung ating pong inaasam na food security and food sufficiency ay talagang makamit po natin.
Opo. Para po mas malinawan ang ating mga kababayan magsasaka, ano ba yung nakapaloob dito sa Agrarian Reform o Agrarian Emancipation Law?
Well, una, yun nga pong gaya ng nabanggit ko, yung pong mga pagkakautang nila, yung pong principal, interest, or charges, lahat po ito ay waive na, kumbaga ay wala na po. No? Itong kanilang lupaing sinasaka sa loob ng napakahabang panahon, ito po ay kanila na talaga ngayon. No? Masasabi nilang pag-aari na nila. No? So, wala na po silang dapat isipin kundi ang pagsasaka na lang at pagpapataas ng produksyon. Yun po ang pinakabuod at pinaka-epekto po ng batas na ito. No?
Opo. Maganda din dyan dahil na-waive na rin yung estate tax. Tama ho ba? Pati estate tax.
Tama kayo. No? Nakalimutan. Tama kayo, Aljo. Kaugnay po rin ito. Yung, pati po yung estate taxes. Lahat po ay waive na. Yun nga lang, meron po tayong mga kondisyon na inilagay dito. Sa loob ng 10 taon, hindi po nila ito pwedeng maibenta, hindi po nila pwede itong ilipat sa iba. Maliban na lang sa kanila pong, kumbaga yung pong pag may namatay sa kanila pong anak o yung magiging tagapagmana, yun lang po ang pwede nilang gawin. At sa loob po ng 20 years, sa loob po ng 20 taon, hindi po nila ito pwedeng i-convert sa ibang usage. No? Kundi gagamitin lang po ito agricultural o sa pagsasaka lamang.
Okay. Kung yan po ay mabili no? Ng third party, hindi po next of kin, hindi po mga kamag-anak nung namatay. Halimbawa po, paano natin mamomonitor na hindi po yan napunta doon sa mga hasindero, yung mga mayayaman na co-convert po yan into commercial use? Itong mga lupang ito para sa ating mga magsasaka after 10 years?
Well, unang-una, bawal nga po, no? Pero then 20 years hindi pwedeng i-convert. No? Ang magbabantay po nito, unang-una yung ating Register of Deeds. No? Hindi po nila ito pwedeng ilipat, no? Until magkaroon po ng DAR clearance na tinatawag natin, no? Or DAR exemption. No? Yung DAR po ang masyo po nito, yung exemption, kung ito po ay hindi kasama sa ito pong CARP or hindi po kasama dito sa agrarian program na to, ang DAR po ang mag-i-issue po nito, yung DAR clearance na tinatawag natin or DAR exemption certificate. No? Hanggang wala po nito, hindi po pwede itong mailipat ng ating mga Register of Deeds.
Opo. At sinabi rin ng kilusang magbubukid na Pilipinas Congressman na matapos po ang bagong batas na ito ay dapat isunod na yung pagsasabatas naman ng bagong agrarian reform at libreng pamamahagi ng lupa. Ano po yung masasabi dyan, sir?
Well, tayo po ay suporta dito, no? Dahil alam naman natin pong agrarian reform law ay nag-expire na po noong 2014. No? Bagamat yung pong support services ay patuloy po nating ginagawa at sinabi na rin ng ating Pangulo na tuloy-tuloy lang po itong igagawin, no? Yung mga support services. Pero sa ngayon kasi yung pong batas po patungkol ay nag-expire na po na bago. Kaya suportado po dito. In fact, pinag-aaralan na po natin ito kung ano po natin gagawin at ito po ang dapat gawin para po makapag-file tayo ng panukala tungkol dito.
Sa tingin nyo ba, sir, makatutulong itong bagong batas na ito para sa ating food security? Posible ba makatulong ito sa importation natin ng bigas?
Well, sa food security o sa kasalukuyan, meron po tayo, kung di ako nagkakamali, meron po pong mga 50 hectares na pwede po na mamahagi sa ating pong mga magsasaka. No? So ito po ay malaking tulong po, no? Sa ating pong sinasabi security. Ito nga pong pagkakasabatas po nitong bagong Emancipation Act na to, magkakaroon po ng karagdagang 1 million hectares plus, no, para po sa ating pong pagsasaka o para po makadagdag sa ating produksyon. No. Ito po ay talagang makakatulong po. No. Kung may sa batas, magkaroon po ng bagong batas, so dito magkakaroon po ng additional 50,000 hectare mga lupain na sa kasalukuyan ay hindi po ginagamit pagsasaka. Wang-wang lang po ito ngayon at hindi po ito ginagamit kahit ano.
May tanong po ang aming kasamaang si Melo Las Moras ng PTV Congressman sa gitna ng banta ng El Nino. Nananawagan na ang ilang grupo ng mga farmers na bigyan ng prioridad ang irigasyon at kapakanan ng mga magsasaka. Ano po inyo masasabi dyan at ano ang dapat gawin ng gobyerno tungkol dito?
Well, alam natin itong El Nino talagang dumarating ito kada 7 taon, no? Kada ilang taon dumarating sa atin. Ngayong taon, nararamdaman na natin nga ngayon, no? Simula, nung nakarang araw, nakipag-usap po tayo kay Gillian ng NIA at kami naman po ay nagkasundo na talaga po dapat tutukan na tingnan na niya ngayon po mga irigasyon natin na talaga pong hindi po gumagama, kaya may mga madudumi, nakabara. So, tinignan po ito ng ating po NIA. No? Kaugnay po dito, tayo po ay nakikipag-ugnayan din sa ating pong mga magsasaka para po sa paggagamit po ng mga drought-resistant seeds. No? Ito ay ating pong pinopromote talaga. Gamitin po nila ito para mas tolerant kumbaga sa tag-init, no? Tolerant po itong mga seeds na to, itong drought tolerant seeds, resistant seeds na tinatawag natin. And then meron din po tayong mga pinopromote na tungkol po yung sa pagtatanim nila, na baguhin po yung calendar ng pagtatanim at yung pong alternate cropping season nila, pag-aralan kung paano po ito gagawin. And then po yung alternate wetting and drying method. Ito po ang ating pong mga pinopromote, ilan po sa mga ginagawa natin. E nakikipag-ugnayan din po tayo sa DA para po doon sa cloud seed, para po kahit po paano kung may mga area po kang tuyot-tuyot, magkaroon po ng cloud seeding activities, no, para po magkaroon po ng ulan. No? So yun po yung mga ilan po sa ginagawa natin and patuloy rin po ang panawagan natin sa NFA na magkaroon po sila ng sapat na po ng bigas para po sa ating po mga pangangailangan.
Okay, maraming salamat Agri Party List Representative Wilbert Lee. Ingat po, sir. Alright, sa bantala, dako muna tayo po sa Malacanang para sa isang press briefing. Narito po.
Good morning, Malacanang Press Corps, and welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, July 12. The Department of Trade and Industry recently concluded a 3-week investment roadshow in Europe. The agency generated about 73 billion pesos in investment leads from the renewable energy and infrastructure development sectors, among others. And to give us more details on this, we are joined today by Trade Secretary Alfredo Pascual. Good morning, Secretary Pascual.
Good morning, Daphne.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you for that introductory remark. We spent 3 weeks in Europe with my team, and we were accompanied also by private sector representatives, particularly the president of SAPI, the Semiconductor and Electronic Industry Association of the Philippines, and Jack Madrid, the CEO of IBPAP, the Association of Business Process Outsourcing Organizations. During the 3-week investment roadshow that we had in Europe, I had the opportunity to witness firsthand the positive outcomes of our efforts. I'm pleased to emphasize the roadshow success, which has resulted, as mentioned, in 48 potential investment leads. Of these, 16 have explicitly indicated investment values totaling more than 73 million or billion pesos, potentially generating more than 4,300 jobs. These are direct jobs. The European government and the businesses warmly received our delegation, recognizing the roadshow as a testament to our active engagement. That's the important thing, that we are engaging with our counterparts in the EU as well as the business organizations in that grouping of nations. And we were able to do our investment promotion efforts in the region. The primary objective of the European Investment Roadshow was to gather investment leads for our priority sectors, namely manufacturing, high-value services, renewable energy, and research and development. Additionally, we sought to foster strategic partnerships and collaboration with the European government, particularly the EU, and as well as businesses in the region. We went to 5 countries: France, the United Kingdom, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. We recognize their interest in investing in the Philippines and the support they can provide as we pursue our sustainable growth and development objectives. It became very clear that their main attraction to the Philippines includes the strategic location of our country, the large population that we have, which translates to a good market for them, and the young, talented, and skilled workforce that we have in the country. Not to speak of our natural resources. During the visit of the delegation, we had the opportunity as well to meet with the EU officials to discuss 2 crucial agenda items. One, the renewal of the GSP Plus for the Philippines, and number 2, the resumption of talks on a free trade agreement between the EU and the Philippines. I was fortunate to meet with the EU Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, and in my business meetings, I emphasized the significant policy reforms the Philippine government has been undertaking to create and enabling a friendly business environment for foreign investments in our country. The two items I mentioned are critical because many of our exporters to Europe depend on the tariff concessions given to us under the GSP Plus. And it's important to commence or recommence discussions on the FTA because our eligibility with respect to the GSP Plus will be not be there anymore the moment we become an upper middle income country. Well, right now we're classified as a lower income country, and our expectation based on our growth trajectory, we will become an upper middle income country within 3 years or so. That means in 2025. And by that time, we will become no longer eligible for coverage under the GSP Plus. So in order not to disrupt the preferential trade arrangements available to our exporters, we need to shift to a more permanent platform for trade, and that is the free trade agreement. There might be speculations regarding the investment leads garnered during previous foreign trips. Let me assure you that the Department of Trade and Industry has mechanisms to monitor and evaluate the progress of investment leads from our previous foreign trips. We ensure transparency and accountability, although we cannot always disclose the names of specific companies that we deal with due to confidentiality demanded by private companies, which are subject to competitive pressures. While some leads may take longer to materialize, we exert continuing efforts to facilitate investment implementation and address any attendant obstacles. As you may note, with EO number 18, we were able to get the President's support or approval for creating green lanes at national agencies as well as local government units. And there will also be a one-stop action center in the Board of Investments for our prospective investors that are classified as bringing strategic investments. It is essential for us to understand that investment leads are typically long-term commitments rather than immediate actions. It's not like, you know, investing in shares listed in the stock exchange, where after you show the potential of a particular issue, that an immediate investment decision can be made, and remittance of the investment follows, you know, the decision right away. As you very well know, in investment decisions involving foreign direct investment, there is normally a series of steps that is followed, starting with the first expression of the interest and the decision to explore the feasibility, and then feasibility study, and then usually the obstacle is in our own internal processes, which we have addressed by coming up with the Green Lanes executive order. And we have also assistance center in the Board of Investment to make sure that in our internal licensing and permitting processes, both at the national level and the local level, are expedited. And after that permitting, then the contracting, the construction of a plant, if there is a plant to be put up, or the setting up of the offices, and then recruitment of people, and so on, until the preparations are completed and the operation of the business is commenced. In the meantime, investments flow into the country, not in one go, but in steps, depending on the requirement for expenditures in putting up the business. The DTI remains committed to developing an enabling environment that attracts and supports investments. We exert promotional efforts to build and maintain a robust pipeline of prospective businesses that will sustain the inflow of investments into our country over time. You know, bringing investments into the country is not a one-time exercise. It's a continuing requirement. We need a continuing flow of investments to the country to support our economic growth. And with the economic growth, we create jobs for our growing population. We are producing 800,000 college graduates a year. And we need to find jobs for these people. And of course, there is local capital, there is expansion of existing businesses, but this additional job creating opportunities might not be sufficient, so we need to bring in new businesses, and then we need to diversify our economy so that it is more resilient and could withstand shifts in markets and shifts in the global environmental situation. It is crucial to emphasize that significant investments take time to implement, and their benefit to the country is also long-term. Okay. So it takes time to solicit, to implement, and to operate the business. But the moment they're here to stay. Unlike what we call hot investments, you must have heard of the term hot investments. Stock exchanges. At the near end of the pipeline, for instance, we developed a pipeline, but at the near end of our current pipeline, 6 companies we met during the past presidential visits are already starting their investment projects in the country. They will contribute to our manufacturing, renewable energy, and IT BPM industries. Collectively, they are expected to generate approximately 17,800 direct employments. Given the reality that not all leads may materialize, I'd like to reiterate that. The reality of life is that not all leads will materialize. We must sustain our efforts, therefore, to generate investment leads to achieve our desired level of investment over the long time going forward. Just like in any business, the selling job does not stop. Doing investment promotion, selling the country, and that effort does not stop. It's not a one-time exercise. We must nurture the build-up of diverse investments to ensure a thriving economy that's growing for our growing population. Rest assured that DTI, along with the whole government under President Marcos Jr.'s leadership, will continue working tirelessly to ensure that several of the investment leads we are gathering during our foreign visits will get implemented eventually and create more stable and better paying jobs for Filipinos. We remain dedicated to contributing to our economy's inclusive and sustainable growth. I'll end there, and
Thank you
we'll
for
be
the
happy
update,
to
sir.
respond to questions from
questions?
our audience.
Jean Mangalus, Inquirer.net.
Hello, Sec. So can I just clarify that when you spoke to the EU rep, is it about the human rights condition that the EU has for the perks we have? Is that?
Well, the GSP Plus is a concession provided by the EU to us. But it's not one way. They are providing concessions. They have imposed obligations.
Yes. So
And these obligations pertain to some values that they believe in, which we also believe in, and for which we have already signed international conventions like human rights, labor rights, protection of the environment, etc.
May we have more details about what you
So
spoke
when
about?
we talk to them, they're checking, because they've raised certain issues in the past. You must have read in the papers. And we briefed them on the latest developments about a few points that we don't cover the whole range. They just have very specific concerns that we were able to address, and they were happy about it. I had an interview in which I mentioned the successful discussion I had with the EU officials I met. I met with the officials of the EU Parliament, the EU Commission. These are two bodies. Of course, there's a third body which I didn't meet anymore, because that's usually that's called the EU Council, which is composed of representatives of the member countries. But the real work is being done by the EU Commission. That's the executive branch, just like our executive branch in the Philippines, and the EU Parliament, which is the equivalent of our Congress. So I had a meeting with them and explained to them recent developments with respect to certain issues that they are interested in.
Okay, Nestor Corrales, Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Secretary, just a follow-up. When you say that the EU is happy, does this include their concerns raised regarding sa human rights? So they are happy with how the government is responding or addressing the issues they raised earlier pertaining to human rights violations or conditions in the Philippines?
Yeah, they have seen progress. It's not as if nothing has happened to address the issues that they're concerned with. And you are all aware of this. You know, they're well published. You know, the results of those matters that are of interest to the EU.
Okay, Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Sir, during the roadshow, was there a discussion on the Maharlika Investment Fund? And
None.
Oh, yes.
None.
No.
None. No discussion.
Why wasn't it brought up, sir?
As I explained to you already, we are after a foreign direct investment, not investment through funds. And I think there is a separate roadshow that's being undertaken by the Department of Finance for that purpose. And we address different audiences, you know. In our case, our discussions are with operating companies. The companies that do the actual production, manufacturing, etc. Whereas the investors we want in the investment fund, in Maharlika Fund, are normally financial institutions or financial entities.
Okay, yeah, that would be under Department of Finance. Maurice Umali, TIMA, GMA7.
Secretary, good morning. I understand there is also a German company that plans to bring in a tunnel boring to help the construction of the subway. How will this go about, considering that we already have contractors? And then, aside from this German company, will there be other investments to help our subway construction?
No, the German company is already here, but they want to bring in more equipment, more pieces of equipment, so they can do more projects or speed up the construction of some of our important infrastructure projects. Okay.
And aside from how much investment are they planning to put in?
We didn't talk of numbers because they're already here. They were talking initially of two major pieces of equipment for developing the foundation of infrastructure projects. They kept on emphasizing to us that normally people don't recognize their contributions to our infrastructure projects because we don't see the work they're doing. Like, for example, they are building the structure that will support the tunnel through which the subway will pass And the work, we don't see their work, because they're eventually covered. And then they also perform platforms for structures, tall structures, building structures. They're here, they're operating here. They want to bring in more equipment so they can take on more subcontracts. But there are constraints that we have to address pertaining to that.
Like what specifically?
Well, they would like to be able to have 100% ownership of their operating company here. But there are legal issues that we are now looking into that's preventing that at the moment.
So does that mean that this will be a hindrance for more investments to come in, especially coming from the companies from Germany? Or from that specific company only?
That particular company. We have addressed a number, the ownership constraints already when it comes to renewables, remember? The opinion issued by the Department of Justice that led into the revision of the IRR implementing the Renewable Energy Act. And under the IRR, we are now allowing 100% ownership of renewable energy projects, including wind, solar, and tidal energy.
Apart from that, nothing else. Especially with the concern of this German company.
That particular German company, yeah, they see a lot of potential in the country. But they want to be able to bring in more capital. Through, when I say capital, that's not necessarily just funds. It could mean capital equipment,
So you mean to say, sir, that will not be a hindrance anymore, even because they see potential in our country, even if they want 100% ownership, it will not be a hindrance for them to put in more investment.
They're operating here under present arrangements, and we want them to commit further capital to their operation here.
Okay. Eden Santos, Net 25.
Secretary, good morning po.
Good morning.
Are you planning to do more investment roadshow sa iba pang mga bansa? Kasi sabi niyo kanina, we have 800 college graduates.
800,000.
800,000 graduates per year. And yet ito pong sa Europe ay mga 4,000 direct jobs lang yung ano pa natin. Para mas marami tayo sanang maibigay na trabaho doon sa 800,000 na to.
Oo. Marami naman, iba-iba naman ang nag-generate ng job opportunities, Yung direct investments, of course, yung IT, BPM industry natin, ang malaking employer din ng skilled graduates, Of course, meron tayong maritime industry, and we send a lot of seamen abroad, na mga college graduates din yan, And then yung mga overseas Filipino workers na karamihan college graduates. So marami ng but in my discussions nga with the European companies, I kept on emphasizing, you want our labor, you might as well set up your factory here, and so that our workers will not have to leave the country but do their work here for your companies, and serve your export market, as well as cater to the Philippine domestic market for those that are producing consumer goods.
So ano po naging tugon nila doon na dito lang sa mag-set up ng kanilang mga negosyo?
They're seeing the light, and it will mean also a lower cost of operation, because if we bring a Filipino worker, a Filipino engineer, for example, to Germany, they'll have to pay the Filipino engineer salary almost equivalent to what they're paying a German engineer. Whereas here, with the lower cost of living here, the wages can be lower. And of course, not only that, if they are going to cater to the regional market, then the Philippines, being part of RCEP, will have access to all the member countries of RCEP. If the investment will cater to the ASEAN region, then we have the ASEAN grouping, for which we have almost tariff-free trade between the countries of ASEAN.
Aside from EU po, meron ba kayong ibang mga nakikitang potential na pwede nating pagdausan din ng same investment roadshow na ito?
Marami pa. Hindi pa tayo pupunta sa Middle East. Sa Europe, we went to 5 countries, and there are many other countries, the Nordic countries, for example. We try to reach them through I don't know whether you're aware, the DTI has a representative in each of our major trading partner country. We call them the Foreign Trade Service Officers. Common term used to call them is commercial attaché, trade representative, commercial counselor. We have when we went there this time, we had to deal with our representative in Paris, based in Paris but taking care of France, the one based in Brussels taking care of 3 countries, Benelux, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And London, we also have one representative there, Germany as well. We have continuing promotional effort. Pero iba yung minister level, because if it's a minister level, chances are we'll be able to talk to the top level executives also of the target companies.
Last na lang po, hindi ba mahirap ibenta ang Pilipinas sa ibang mga bansa, mga investors sa ibang bansa po? Hindi kayo nahirapan?
Not anymore, because of the reforms that have been undertaken recently. You will recall that a number of reform measures have been done, the amendment to the Public Service Act, the amendment to the Foreign Investment Act, the amendment to the Retail Trade Liberalization Law, and then the passage of the CREATE Act, and then the relaxation of ownership restrictions that we did recently for renewable energies. And then also our openness to engage other countries. Yun ang talagang nakaka-create ng interest, that we are prepared to send high-level delegations. That means we're really keen on inviting them, hindi yung pabalat bunga lang. Yun ang importanting message. And not only that, geopolitical developments are such that Europe is developing great interest in the Indo-Pacific. Kaya tayo pupunta ron kasi yung mga kapitbahay natin sa paligid-ligid natin, ginagawa yon. Kung hindi natin gagawin, pag mag-iisip na yung investor mag-invest sa ASEAN or Southeast Asia, sino unang may isip? Siyempre, yung nakakausap nila. Kaya kailangan, pakita rin tayo. Parang ano lang yan alam niyo naman yung sa business, di ba? May mga salesman. Kumisan, sales manager pupunta. Kumisan yung presidente pa, hindi ba? Para kumuha ng negosyo. Tsaka walang hinto yun. It's not a one-time exercise. Tuloy-tuloy dapat yun. And continuing build up a pipeline so that if we have a bigger pipeline, kahit na certain percentage will not materialize, we still have a lot that will be implemented.
Okay, that's great. So great climate for promoting the Philippines. We have Harley Valbuena, DZME.
Hello, good morning po, Secretary. Sir,
Morning.
you have mentioned that the DTI has a mechanism to monitor and evaluate the investments accumulated by the President sa kanya pong foreign trips. So, natrack po ba natin yung amount kung magkano na yung investments na nag-materialize na in the country?
Meron yan. Andito.
Highlighted.
Ang nag-materialize na, the number that we expect to materialize in 2023 will total around 88 million US dollars. Maliit pa, no? Yun lang yung up to June this year, and we expect some more to ripen and eventually lead to the inflow of investments. 88 million. It's not so large as yet, but the potential is, as we announced before, we have a pipeline that we were able to build up amounting to around 70 billion US dollars.
Okay.
Sir, pwedeng malaman kung ano pong mga bansa or saan mga bansa nang galing itong, yung at least June po this year na investments?
So,
kung meron po.
hinahanap ko yung listahan, hindi ko memorize. Summary of investment stages. The business has been registered or registered with the BOI or other investment promotion agencies. 6 projects, 88.4 million US dollars. And then following it, mayroon tayong 6 classification, starting yung confirmed investment not covered by MOUs or LOIs and still at the planning stages. Doon, marami doon, And then next is yung with MOU and LOI signed, yung second category. Third category, agreement signed with clear financial value of project. And then business registration in progress. Yung fifth, yun yung business or business registration is made or registration with BOI or other investment promotion agency. Yung last category, yung sixth, is the business been registered and the operations have commenced. Okay, doon yung 6 operations have commenced. And then under yung second category, level 5, 6 then with 4.2 billion US dollars in indicated investment value.
Okay. Are we able to disseminate that chart? Not yet. Are we able to give them a copy of that or not yet? No.
Yung summary, yes, we cannot show the names. Laki-laki. But we have all the names of the companies.
Okay.
Here.
Let's move on to Sam Medanilia of Business Mirror.
Sir, hello. Going back lang po dun sa kanina, yung nabanggit nilang mga investment leads sa European trade show. Meron pong silang nabanggit earlier na 14 investment leads related to manufacturing na na-secure ng Philippines. Ano po kayang mga sector to? Tsaka meron po ba ditong involved sa processing of ores at agriculture products na gusto po ni Pangulo?
Okay. Yung 48 leads na kuha natin, ang mga sectors niyan, manufacturing and related services. Kasama na dyan yung, kilala namang company to, babanggitin ko na Airbus, na merong IT BPM at different types. Our IT BPM is so varied now, ranging from customer services, and tinatawag nilang voice services, saka yung non-voice. The more advanced technologically are those engaged in solutions for cybersecurity and game development. Then sa renewable energy, ito malaki to, in fact, sa registration ng BOI, to date, 2/3 renewable energy. Merong wind, solar, and hydrogen. Yung hydrogen, the moment this is implemented, will be the first in Asia, in Southeast Asia, to have that hydrogen power generation. That's with a French company. And then yung infra and construction services. Yung isa yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina rito. The equipment hindi lang equipment provider, they do the foundations of infrastructure projects.
Bali sir, wala pong related sa green metal processing.
Wala pang specific, but we've always mentioned it. Meron naman tayong kausap outside Europe na potential partner.
Okay.
Tapos, sir, last na lang po. Is there any commitment from EU when they will extend the GSP for Philippines? And if they ask for any conditions before they decide to do so?
Based on our discussion and also confirmed by their published action, there is a joint committee within EU that proposed the rollover of the existing GSP Plus for another 4 years. That means rollover under existing conditions, so walang additional obligation.
Okay. Alan Francisco, PTV
Pero ano pa yan, we are still awaiting a final approval by the Parliament. Yun lang ang recommendation ng Joint Committee. Based na rin on our discussion.
Hi, Sec. Good morning. I understand that this month we are celebrating the MSME month. By any chance, have you discussed with the European investors on how we can help the MSME here in our country?
Pinag-usapan namin yan, kausap namin yung manufacturers of or suppliers of aerospace industry. We want to develop our small and medium-sized enterprises that are engaged in metalworks for producing various parts that go into aerospace equipment.
Okay.
Sa France, sa Belgium, may nakausap ako that's in the business of selling flavors out of agricultural crops. In our case, we export, for example, banana chips. But there is a big market for banana powder. Or we export coconut water or coconut milk. But there is a big market also for coconut meat powder. In other words, the coconut meat as is pulverized, and the powder is the one that's exported as flavoring for various food products produced by companies in more developed countries.
Okay.
So that's one thing that I will most likely pursue. That's one of my plans to encourage the small and medium enterprises operating in our regions that are engaged in processing of agri products to consider this possibility. And I talked to DOST, and I was told that they have already devised an equipment that can do such operation. And I'm just hoping that when the budget is approved, we will have funds for what we call shared service facilities. Ito yung equipment that we will place in a particular location, say coconut area, and then people engaged in coconut industry will be able to share in the use of that equipment.
Okay. Last question, Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Sir, follow-up lang dun sa question ni Harley. Sir, how many direct jobs are expected to be generated first dun sa $88 million in investments that we expect to materialize this year, and also for the 70 billion potential investments already in the pipeline?
Yung sa first 6 companies, around 4,500 jobs.
We're good? Is that it? Okay.
Sir, yung
No
yung
follow-up.
sa EU roadshow, no? Pero yung nabanggit nyo po na 88 million.
Yung sa 88?
Yes, sir.
Ayun nga yung doon sa 88.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Follow-up na lang yung sa potential investments na 70 billion already in the pipeline. May estimate na po ba tayo kung ilang direct jobs will be generated?
Yung sa overall, ang hirap mag-speculate, ano? But yung sa 71 billion US dollars, there was an old estimate for that. I just don't have it handily available. Well, definitely they're in the thousands of jobs. Yung sa EU, yung 16 projects out of the 48 that we hope to materialize amounting to more than 73 billion pesos. The estimated job generation is 4,350.
Okay. I think, would you like to say anything in the end?
Explain ko lang, ano, yung sa job generation. Because some of these, the projects that are capital intensive normally, they are less job intensive, capital intensive, less job are generated. In the BPO industry, that's where we are able to generate a lot of jobs. Some outfits have thousands, 10,000 jobs in one organization. So what we want to happen is that we bring in the capital-intensive industries, and then we develop our MSMEs to serve as suppliers to these companies. So the suppliers among the MSMEs will also generate jobs on their own to support the operation of the manufacturing enterprise.
Thank you very much, Secretary Pascual of the DTI, for the updates from your 3-week roadshow in the EU. Very promising, and a lot of stories for our Malacanang press corps. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Daphne.
Yeah, thank you. That's a lot of...
Tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa ating laging handa public briefing. Ipinaalala po ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. sa Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation of PAGCOR na paigtingin ang mga hakbang nito laban sa mga iligal na gawain sa gaming industry na papatuloy na tumutulong sa taong bayan. Yan po ang inihayag ng Pangulo sa ika-40 anibersaryo ng PAGCOR. Dito ipinahayag din ng Pangulo na tiwala siyang patuloy na magiging katuwang ng gobyerno ang PAGCOR pagdating sa nation building, lalo na pagdating sa turismo, pagbuo ng trabaho at pagtulong sa marginalized sector. Ay naman kay PAGCOR Chairman and CEO Alejandro Tenco, umabot na sa 607 bilyong piso ang contributions to nation building ng PAGCOR sa loob ng 4 na dekada. At sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Marcos Jr., umabot na ang kanilang CNB sa 45 bilyong piso at ngayong taon ay target nila itong paabutin sa 70 billion pesos.
May you remain a shining example of what it means to be workers at PAGCOR. Individuals who stand firm in their dedication to service, excellence, and integrity, who are determined to leave their mark not only in the gaming industry, but in our society as a whole. The attractions and ventures that you have taken under your care have drawn visitors from far and wide, generating jobs and opportunities for our people.
7th anibersaryo ng makasaysayang ruling ng The Hague sa arbitration case pabor sa Pilipinas. Yan pag-usapan natin with Attorney J. Batong Bakal, Maritime Law Expert at Director ng UP Institute for Maritime Affairs and Law of the Sea. Attorney, magandang tanghali po.
Ay, magandang tanghali po at sa lahat po ng nanonood at nakikinig, magandang tanghali din po.
Opo, 7 taon matapos ang award na ito ng The Hague. Opo, arbitral award dito sa kaso pabor sa Pilipinas, yan po sa West Philippine Sea. Ano po yung masasabi sa mga aksyon ng ating bansa opo sa teritoryong ating nasasakupan?
Well, ang sabi ko po, ito po nga yung matagal na rin nating hihintay, no? Ito po yung mga tamang hakbang, no? At nakita natin ngayon, for example, nandito po ako pa sa isang conference, ang dami pong mga bansa na nagsalita, no, na talagang pinapanigan ng Pilipinas at nangangako po na tutulungan ng Pilipinas na panindigan talaga ang kanyang mga karapatan dito po sa West Philippine Sea. So maganda po ang mga moves ng government ngayon, no, na pinapakita natin na talagang gusto nating ipakita sa mundo na naninindig tayo sa ating mga karapatan at hinahanap natin sa ibang bansa katulad ng China na sila'y sumunod din sa batas internasyonal at respetuhin itong ating mga karapatan.
Sa tingin nyo ba, Professor, bakit patuloy pagtanggi ng China na kilalanin ang ruling na ito? May ngipin ba? Opo. Enforceable ba ito, Attorney? Itong ruling na ito, arbitral award?
Opo. Well, po, ang enforcement po nitong arbitral award na ito ay nakasalalay actually sa atin. Dahil tayo po ang nanalo, tayo po ang dapat ngayon mag-implement nitong award, no? May mga ilang paraan dyan. Isa na po yung ginagawa nga ng gobyerno na naninindigan siya sa karapatan niya at pinipilit niyang ma-monitor, mag-patrol, no? At punahin itong mga illegal activities ng China, no? Isang pangalawang hakbang na mahalaga ay kung tayo sana ay mag-enact, no? Kung isasabatas natin yung ating mga maritime zones, no? Lalo na itong kung nasa ng hangganan nitong West Philippine Sea. Yan po ay mga hakbang na enforcement actually nitong arbitral award, no? Dahil pinapakita natin sa mundo na ini-implement natin siya. No, ang China ayaw niya ito kasi nga ang gusto niyang angkinin ang lahat ng likas yaman dagat diyan sa West Philippine Sea at saka gusto niyang gawing parang sarili niyang security buffer ang West Philippine Sea at ang Pilipinas mismo, no? Kasi ang priority nila ay yung kanyang strategic and military security, pero ang tingin niya itong sa South China Sea at the West Philippine Sea, yan yung maaring daanan ng mga potential na kaaway niya. Kaya gusto niyang kontrolin para magiging bakod niya balik kung gano'n, no? Kaya wala siyang pakialam kung yung mga likas yaman dagat diyan, yung mga karapatan ng ibang bansa ay tatapakan niya, no, at kukunin niya basta lang ma-secure niya yung sarili niya.
Ano po ang kahalagaan nitong desisyon ng The Hague, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, kundi maging sa ibang bansa, Attorney?
Napakahalaga po nito dahil nakita nga natin, in addition to vindicating yung rights natin, nakita natin ngayon, naglalabasan ngayon ang statement ng mga maraming bansa katulad ng United States, ng EU, ng France, ng Japan, etc. Lahat sila sumusuporta sa paninindigan ng Pilipinas na magkaroon nga ng access dito sa West Philippine Sea, na respetuhin yung karapatan ng Pilipinas at respetuhin ang UNCLOS o ang batas internasyonal tungkol sa karagatan, no? Lahat sila nagko-commit din na tutulungan tayo na palakasin ang ating mga capability, no, para nga bantayan itong sarili nating mga likas yaman dagat, no, at makipagtulungan, no, para nga manaig ang international law at itong China ay magbago at sumunod na lang sa international law. Imbis na pinipilit lang niya yung poder niya para makuha yung mga objective niya.
May tanong po si Nestor Corrales ng Philippine Daily Inquirer. Do you support the calls for President Marcos Jr. to bring to the United Nations General Assembly China's non-stop aggression in the West Philippine Sea to put international pressure on Beijing?
Well, yung mga hakbang po na yan, maganda po yan. So maganda pong i-consider talaga yan dahil nakikita natin, no, na ang China nagpupumilit pa rin, no? So pwedeng ihain talaga yan sa General Assembly para nga tawagin ng pansin ng buong mundo dito sa mga ginagawa nito na China. Isa lang po yan sa mga maraming hakbang na pwedeng gawin ng Pilipinas, no? Pero siyempre, kailangan ipaliwanag din natin sa taong bayan, hindi ko mo naghain ka sa General Assembly, automatic may mangyayari agad, no? Matagal na proseso po ito dahil ito po ay isang paraan para nga mag-generate ng international pressure and international public opinion. So yan po kailangan talagang i-build up, kailangan magkaroon tayo ng patience dyan dahil it will take some time. Pero isa pong tamang hakbang yon para dito sa ginagawa natin sa West Philippine Sea.
Okay. Sa agresibong pagkilos ng China sa West Philippine Sea dito, Professor, nagbago ba ito kumpara sa mga nakarang taon? O naging mas agresibo sila ngayon?
Well, sa ngayon po, base dun sa statements ng Coast Guard, medyo nagbago nga po sila, no? Ang nakikita natin, ayaw na nilang nakukunan sila ng litrato daw, no? Yung pag sinusundan nila o sinashadow nila yung Coast Guard, hindi na raw sila tumatabi, kundi nasa likod na raw sila para nga hindi sila makuha ng malinaw na litrato. So nakita natin nagbabago nga, no? Tapos mukhang at least initially, no, nitong first half ng year, no, parang nabawasan nga yung insidente, no? Nung kanilang dangerous maneuvering pero yung kanilang shadowing tuloy-tuloy pa rin. So siguro hindi pa natin masabi na nagkaroon talaga ng siguradong trend ito dahil gano'n naman ng China parang urong-sulong yan doon sa kanyang mga moves, no? So sinusubukan niya kung hanggang saan siya abot. Sa ngayon parang nag-step back siya, no, sa ngayon. Pero dapat we remain vigilant, no, at yun nga we should continue, no, itong ating posture, no, na naninindigan tayo para nga tuluyan na siyang mag-back off.
So importante dito ma-document natin na attorney lahat ng mga halimbawa itong dangerous maneuver na ginagawa ng China sa ating mga vessel, ng Philippine Coast Guard, pati na ng Philippine Navy. Para sa ganun ay man-notice yan ng international community. Kasi yung pressure ng international community, sa tingin nyo ba darating ang panahon na mahihiya na rin ang China dito at tantanan na tayo dyan sa EEZ ng Pilipinas sa West Philippine Sea?
Para sa akin po, darating din ang panahon na yon basta tuloy-tuloy na nakikita niya na talagang hindi siya makausad, no? Na mas maganda sa kanya na sumunod na lang sa batas imbis na lumabag dito lagi, no? So kaya mahalaga na yung ating position dito sa West Philippine Sea at yung tulong ng international community dapat consistent yan at tuloy-tuloy dahil pangmatagalang lab dito nga, no? Hindi sa puwersa kundi talaga sa paninindigan.
Okay, so kinakailangan niya talaga ng suporta, no, ng international community. Otherwise, talagang mahihirapan, no, ang plano talaga ng China sakupin yung lugar na yan.
Kasi kung nag-iisa lang tayo, alam ng China na maliit lang tayo, no, nasa kanya lahat ng poder. So alam niya madali tayong matulak o ma-influensyahan. Pero kung kita niya na maraming tayong kaibigan tutulong sa atin, talagang medyo mag-iisip siya.
Sa unang taon po ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Attorney ay nakapaghain na ang Pilipinas ng halos 100 protesta, diplomatic protest, at mayroon ding mahigit 200 note verbal laban sa China. O ano po impact nito?
Well, nakikita po natin meron yan actually impact, no? Hindi lang siguro nararamdaman ng ating mga kababayan. Pero for example, pagdating doon sa mga kanilang mga fishing vessel na naka-deploy dyan sa West Philippine Sea, dati po, nung hindi tayo nagpo-protesta at sinasabi nating wala tayong magagawa, no? Talagang nagkalat talaga sila sa buong West Philippine Sea, no? Yung mga nangingisda doon, no? Pero simula po nung nagpuprotesta ng Pilipinas at tinatawag ng pansin ng international community, ngayon pag tinitingnan po namin sa mga satellite monitoring, marami po sa kanila, karamihan sa kanila talagang sa labas na ng ating West Philippine Sea. So yung mga natitira, malamang yan yung mga hindi nangingisda, yan yung mga maritime militia na tinatawag, na lagi nga nating nakikita ngayon sa balita, no? Kasi hindi sila nangingisda eh. Parang ibang pakay nila. Pero yun nga, dahil dun sa protesta, at least nabawasan talaga yung majority ng mga pinapapasok nila sa West Philippine Sea. So isa po yan sa mga senyas na talagang nagkakaroon ng epekto. Pangalawa po, ito nga, yung dahil nagiging mas malakas na yung ating pagprotesta, yung mga ibang bansa, katulad ng US, Japan, etc., no, talagang sinasabayan na tayo, no? Parang agad-agad nag-i-issue na sila ng mga statements ng support, no, at talagang kino-call out din nila ang China pa ulit-ulit, no. So lumalakas tuloy yung boses natin dahil tayo ay kumbaga nagkakaroon ng echo, no, ulit din ng mga ibang bansa yung mga sinasabi natin na dapat ang China mag-behave properly, no, at tumigil na dito sa paglabag na ng international law. So meron po talagang epekto yan kahit hindi nakikita ng ating kababayan, no, na dahil siguro ibang hinahanap nila yung physical na mga activity o mga bangga o mga labanan, no? Hindi po yun ang hahanapin natin, kundi itong ang mga changes sa behavior na nakikita natin overall sa China mismo.
Gaano po kahalaga na makibahagi ang publiko o mga Pilipino sa sitwasyon sa West Philippine Sea, sir?
Napakahalaga po, no, dahil nga yung public support, kahit nung previous administration, napakataas po ng public support para manindigan tayo sa West Philippine Sea. At in the end, no, mas naging mas mahalaga yon para nga ma-influensyahan yung ating pamahalaan, mapakita sa armed forces na tama yung ginagawa nila. Kahit medyo hindi maganda siguro yung parang political atmosphere ng leadership at the time, no? Pero ngayon po, lalo pong mahalaga yun dahil nakikita namin, dahil ngayon merong nilabas na bagong survey, talagang fully supported po ng public itong ating armed forces modernization at yung ating pakikipagtulungan sa mga ibang bansa para manindigan dito sa West Philippine Sea at ma-ensure na hindi tayo maagawan ng ating mga likas yaman dagat at karapatan. So hanggat nandun po yung public support, no, then ang government po ay makakasigurado na tama yung ginagawa niya, na talagang pinupursue niya ang national interest, no, na mismong ang publiko mismo ang nagsabi sa kanya kung ano yun.
Opo. Plano ng DepEd na ilagay sa bagong curriculum ng basic education ang mga aralin tungkol sa West Philippine Sea, kabilang na ang 2016 ruling ng The Hague. Ano po ang inyong masasabi?
Well, tama lang po yun, no, dahil napakahalagang itong ruling na to, napakahalagang pangyayari ito, no, sa buong istorya nitong mga South China Sea disputes, no. Tapos pinakita nga doon sa ruling na yon na parang na kung nasaan ang hangganan ng ating mga karapatan sa dagat, no? Hindi lang yung ating teritoryo kundi yung mga kumbaga pag-aari din natin sa labas ng teritoryo pero nandoon sa loob ng EEZ at continental shelf, so mga pangsdaan, petrolyo, etc. Dapat po alam talaga ng publiko yan para hindi sila madaling malinlang ba ng mga ibang bansa o kaya ng mga ibang mga vested interest, no, para i-give up yung mga ating mga karapatan at ating mga kalikas yaman dagat at sasabihin nila wala naman tayong karapatan, no? Pag malinaw po yan sa publiko, then siguro naman hindi tayo matatakot na ngayon na makipag-deal dito sa mga ibang bansa at mga ibang tao na ito, no? Dahil alam natin talaga kung alin ang atin.
Opo. Yung mga pagsasagawa ng joint military drills sa Pilipinas at ibang bansa, katulad po ng Amerika, Japan at iba pa, ano po ang benepisyo nito sa atin sa Pilipinas? Meron ba itong impact sa mga pagkilos ng China dyan po sa West Philippine Sea?
Meron po kasi alam natin ang China ayaw niya na yung mga ibang bansa na hinaharap niya ay nakikipagtulungan o nagtutulong-tulungan. Gusto niya talaga isa-isa lang, kaya nga bilateral lagi ang gusto nila. Kasi pwede nilang gamitin yung at lakas nila para ma-influensyahan at medyo matakot, ma-intimidate yung kabila. Pero kung nakita niyang nagtutulungan, no, may mga kakampi, then nagbabago siyempre yung kanyang pakikitungo. So pagdating dito sa mga joint exercises, mga joint patrols, etc., malaki pong tulong yan sa atin dahil hindi lang na ipapakita ng Pilipinas na talagang pinaninindigan niya yung kanyang mga karapatan, kundi nakikita ng China na suportado ang Pilipinas, no, concretely supported ng ibang bansa ang ginagawa ng Pilipinas. Tapos medyo hindi na siya madali ngayong mag-i-interfere doon sa mga activities natin, no? Kasi kung kunwari isang Navy ship lang o kaya isang Coast Guard ship lang ang nandyan, padadala na nilang sarili nilang mga Coast Guard at militia, madali nilang makukuha sa dami, no, na ma-intimidate, no? Pero kung may mga kasama tayong ibang bansa, medyo mag-iingat sila dahil nila na pag may ginawa sila, hindi lang Pilipinas ang magiging interesado sa mga pangyayari, hindi lang Pilipinas ang aksyon, kundi pati itong mga ibang bansa na ito. So magiging complicated para sa kanya yon, no? Dahil doon, medyo aatras siya sa tingin ko, no? Medyo mag-iingat siya pag maraming mga Navy ships ang kaharap niya.
Opo. Thank you so much, Attorney J. Batungbakal, Maritime Law Expert at Director ng UP Institute for Maritime Affairs and Law of the Sea.
Welcome po, welcome po.
Alright, daghang kay salamat sa atong mga partner agency sa kanilang suporta sa ating programa at maging ang kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas o KBP. At dito po nagtatapos ang ating programa sa araw nito hanggang bukas. Ako po yung Nico Daljo Bendijo at ito ang Public Briefing #, laging handa PH.
Kaya natin to. Kaya natin to.